Welcome everyone to our kickoff event of the spring. Over here, we're very excited for you to meet all of us, to learn about what we have planned for the spring, meet our e-board, and mix and mingle with all of our e-board and committee members in breakout rooms afterwards. So without further ado, we will get started. If you didn't get a chance to sign in yet with the link in the Zoom chat, feel free to sign in now by pointing your screen at this QR code. If you have any technical issues, please let me know. If you do have any technical issues, Sean, I'll just ask you to drop that attendance sign-in link in the chat one more time, just for the people that trickled in afterwards. The link should work. I just tested it out. But yeah, so just take a second to do that. And if you didn't get the QR code on the screen, the link will be in the chat. All right. So in terms of what we will be going over today, we'll start off with what is BITS, what is BAIT, just diving into what we do as a club and you know, why would you want to get involved with BITS, and what type of careers BAIT is good for. We'll do a brief overview on that. Then we'll jump into e-board introductions, so you can get to know a little bit about our e-board members, so you can network with them and talk with them in breakout rooms at the end. We'll go over past and upcoming events, and then we'll jump into breakout rooms afterwards, so you can meet people, ask questions, and just make friends in small groups. So I'll hand it off to Aishwarya.
Hey everyone, I'm Aishwarya. So we're going to first just talk about what BITS is. So BITS stands for the Business Information Technology Society, and we're an RBS organization that's geared towards the BAIT major, but you do not need to either be in RBS or be a BAIT major in order to be part of our club. We're open to everyone. So overall, in terms of the events that we hold, we do career development programs, professional and technical skill building workshops, and then also offer a lot of networking opportunities with companies. So it's really a wholesome way to get to know more about BAIT as a major, or even the intersection of business and technology. So that all serves to fulfill our purpose of expanding students' knowledge of the careers available to them by providing resources and opportunities.
So what is BAIT? If you don't know already, BAIT stands for Business Analytics and Information Technology. Essentially, it's a very versatile major for anyone pursuing a career at the intersection of business and technology. You can take BAIT and pursue a career on any spectrum. So you can be as non-technical on the business side of things to as technical on the technology side of things. Just to give you an idea, you could be anywhere from, say, a consultant all the way up until a, dare I say, even software engineer. We'll dive a little bit more into how you explore those careers with specific combinations of majors, minors, and concentrations. And essentially, if you're just starting out and you don't really know where you want to go, I think BAIT is really good just to develop your fundamental skill set for data-driven problem solving in a business context. Data is where every company and every industry is headed. So BAIT is a really good degree to pursue, just to make sure you're kind of making sure your skill set is up to date with where the business world is moving overall. So diving a little bit into into BAIT, for the purposes of this section today, we're going to talk a little bit more about BITS and how BITS helps you explore business and technology. As for deep diving into BAIT itself, we actually have a really nice in-depth video up on our YouTube channel. It's the first event that we do of the year. Every year, it's called "So You Want to Be a BAIT Major." That is our flagship event that we always do, and we dive into everything you need to know, listed on the slide: skills, core classes, electives, concentrations, future career paths, a 4-year plan, and then there's a little Python workshop thrown in there too. So we highly recommend you check out this video for a very in-depth explanation of BAIT on your own time. The QR code for our YouTube channel is up on the screen. You can also find a link to it in the link in our bio. Just scroll all the way down and you'll see the link to our YouTube channel. So I highly recommend watching that. We also have timestamps in the description of the video, so you can skip around into whatever topics you want to hear more about. So that's just an FYI, so you know this resource is available to you. Now we're going to dive into a brief overview of the hard skills you'll learn in BAIT classes specifically. So you'll learn Python for sure. You'll learn SQL for sure. Python you'll learn in Foundations of Business Programming, which is a class you typically take your sophomore year, I would say. SQL or SQL, you will all learn in MIS, which is a required business core class. So regardless of your major, you will all learn SQL, but SQL you will build upon in the BAIT major in business data management, which is a core class. RStudio, you will learn in time series, which is the highest level BAIT core class. You can also explore R in BAIT electives like investment modeling with R. And then Tableau, you'll learn in some specific BAIT electives. I believe data mining for business intelligence is one of them that you learn Tableau in. I might be wrong on that, but there's definitely Tableau in the BAIT curriculum. You just have to take the specific electives to explore that in a classroom environment. That's not to say that you can't learn and develop these skills on your own outside of the classroom. I would actually even highly suggest to do that through your own projects. So yeah, that's just a brief overview on the hard skills that you would learn as a BAIT major. Now, if you signed up for this event via the sign up form, you likely submitted some questions. So we just went ahead and looked at those questions and selected the most popular ones to address in this event and integrate our content to what you guys want to know. So the first question that was very popular is, how do you network with other BAIT majors? Which is a valid question. Say you're trying to explore BAIT and you just want to meet other people, make friends that you could take classes with, all of that. I would say the easiest way, and I'm not just saying this, but the easiest way is to attend BAIT's events because it's a community specifically for BAIT majors and anyone interested in the intersection of business and technology. So if you come out to our events, you'll meet us on the e-board, you'll meet upperclassmen, you'll meet other people in your peer group, and you'll just naturally expand your BAIT network by just coming out to BAIT's events. Other ways to do that is to make friends in your classes, intentionally reach out to them via various channels, and just put yourself outside your comfort zone and meet new people in your BAIT classes. Yeah, so that's how I would say you would network with other BAIT majors. Now, how do you develop BAIT skills? So like I mentioned on the previous slide, traditional BAIT skills, quote unquote, are Python, R, SQL, Tableau, and a lot of others that are not covered in BAIT core curriculum per se, but they're still BAIT skills. Examples of that would be Power BI, Excel macros, and VBA. But yeah, so how do you develop all of those? Like I mentioned before, I'd say the best way is to do it through a project because you're just learning it as you go. And then it's easier to have a motivation to learn a new skill when you have a use case for it. So say you have a question that you're really interested in answering by using data. Just for example, if you're interested in, COVID is still an ongoing thing. So you're like, maybe you want to know, what are the COVID hotspots in the US right now? You can go find a public database online with information like testing records, who's vaccinated, who's not vaccinated, how many COVID cases. Take all of that data and you can clean it and you can organize it and you can analyze it using Python and SQL, and then you can visualize it using Tableau. So that's just a really quick example of how you can develop a project to learn your BAIT skills while you're doing the project. I'd say that's the best way because whenever you want to figure out something related to your project, you're just going to Google it and figure it out. Honestly, it's a lot of just Googling. If you want a more structured way to learn it, there is tons of free courses on Coursera and Udemy that you can take for various skill levels, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. You can also, I would highly suggest finding a course with a project in it. So you have some sort of deliverable that you created by taking the course. And then of course you can put that project on your LinkedIn and your resume. So that's how I would say you should develop your BAIT skills outside the classroom at least. And what are the career options for a BAIT major? This was a very popular question, which makes sense because majority of our audience here today are freshmen, freshmen and sophomores mainly. So like I mentioned previously, in terms of career options as a BAIT major, you have a lot of options. That's why a lot of people choose BAIT or they pair it with another major or minor because it gives you a lot of versatility. But I know that that might not be the answer that you want to hear. You might be wanting specific careers that you can go into or roles. So I went ahead and put together a little table based on my own experience and just thoughts. And then I'm going to open up to eBoard after I show my table to kind of get your take on things in terms of career options and if you have any things to add onto the table that I've made. And then I just want to preface the table with that these are just my own opinions. I'm not representing Rutgers or BAIT or the BAIT department. These are just the most common roles that I've seen current BAIT majors pursue as well as alumni. So I'm going to go ahead and share that. So just give me 1 second. I'm just pulling it up. Okay, so I'm sharing it now. So in terms of career paths, this here is a variety of career paths and roles you can go into. And over here, you'll see these are popular majors and minors and concentrations to consider. And then this is the industry that you can pursue this role in with these majors. So I'm just going to go down the list. And if you have any specific questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and our eBoard will address them. And again, just want to preface, so this is just my thoughts. So it might not be entirely accurate, but it's based off my current knowledge. So you can be a business and or data analyst in any industry with a BAIT major alone. I would suggest adding a statistics minor or major onto it, but it's not necessary at all. You can pursue like just a general business analyst role with the BAIT major alone. Also, before I continue, just side note, any major or minor that has a little asterisk next to it, that just means that you should highly consider doing that major or minor for this career path. Now, data engineer is a much more technical role than data analyst. So I would suggest BAIT, statistics, CS, or even other technical major like math. Then business consultant is a less technical role. So you can get into consulting with the BAIT major alone, with the BAIT plus any RBS major, or honestly, consulting is very broad in terms of what backgrounds people go into it. So you can go into consulting with pretty much any major. So yeah, and then product management. This, you can go into it with a BAIT major alone, but it might not be the easiest path, but it's definitely possible. I would suggest doing BAIT plus CS. That would be a very strong combination for product management, or even CS alone. So that's why I have these two starred over here. Yeah, and then data science, you can go into with BAIT alone, but data science has a lot of statistical concepts that would help in it. So that's why I would suggest a statistics major or minor, and as well as you should also consider CS. Software engineering, I have BAIT on here, but I would highly suggest you take on a more technical major like CS. So there are some nuances for software engineering. If you want to get into software engineering, you can do CS alone. You don't need to add BAIT as a double major. If you're doing BAIT alone, you can do it, but you'll have to get the experiences and internships in addition to your major to break into software engineering. So that's it requires planning to do and experience. So I would suggest adding, if you're a BAIT major alone, I would suggest adding a CS minor, just to help you learn those skills inside the classroom. Tech sales is a non-technical role at a tech company. Essentially, you're doing tech sales at a tech company. So that's why the industry here is tech. And you can do that with a BAIT major alone. I don't know too much about what other majors you should pursue for tech sales, but BAIT alone is more than enough to pursue that career path. Now, I'm going to dive into the other possible double majors in RBS specifically. So if you're trying to pursue finance as a career path, whether that's front office, Wall Street roles, or corporate finance roles, you can pursue it with a BAIT degree alone, but I would highly suggest adding on a finance concentration just to give you industry knowledge. But the most powerful combination for finance would be choosing BAIT or CS and adding it with finance. That would be the most helpful because finance, the industry overall, is moving towards leveraging data. So that's why you want to have some sort of baseline data skill set. And then you can be, more on the business side of things with BAIT or on the more programming side of things with CS. So yeah, that's for finance. Then quantitative finance, I think, is a different ballgame than finance. You really need a primary, at least I think you need a very primarily a technical major because it's quite modeling heavy. So popular majors, CS, math, and physics. And then you can optionally add on finance. I don't have engineering on this popular major path because I'm assuming a lot of us here are RBS students and you might not be double majoring in engineering and business. But if you are pursuing quantitative finance, engineering, I think it's popular as well. In terms of fintech, you can get into it with BAIT alone. The most powerful combination would be BAIT plus finance if you want to focus on the more business side of things in fintech. If you want to be on the more technical side of things, then BAIT plus CS or CS alone over here. Now for supply chain, so like a traditional supply chain role or a supply chain analytics role, you can get with just a BAIT major. That might sound a little counterintuitive, but I personally, based off in my experience, have gotten interviews for supply chain roles just like being a BAIT and finance major. So essentially without having a supply chain major, you can still get supply chain roles. I would say the most powerful combination, at least for supply chain analytics, would be BAIT plus supply chain. For marketing analytics, apologies, I'm missing some fields over here, but you could do it with BAIT alone, but I wouldn't recommend that. I would say definitely have a marketing background, whether that's the marketing major alone, but the best would be BAIT plus marketing for both a marketing role and a marketing analytics role. And then accounting, I'd say you definitely need the accounting major, and then you can add on BAIT, which would be a very powerful combination that I personally don't see very commonly in RBS. I definitely see it. And when I do see it, it's a very powerful combination. So yeah, that's just a brief overview. And just these are just some other majors and minors and careers to consider. So cognitive science, DCIM minor, economics, quantitative economics, and other careers to consider are UX, UI, and entrepreneurship. So that's a brief overview of what I think are all the, this is not all inclusive, but a lot of the popular career paths that different combinations of majors and minors you can pursue for a specific career path. So I will be refining this into a more in-depth table, and we'll probably send this out to you guys after the event sometime the next week. So you have this as a reference. But I just want to stress that this is not all inclusive, and it's not a formula. There is no straight path into any career, really. If you want to get into any career, the two main things you want to focus on is building the skill set and building the experience. The skill set you can build inside the classroom or outside the classroom. And the experience, obviously, you would build outside the classroom through internships. So the strongest combination to get into any of these careers is having the relevant majors as well as the relevant experience. So do with this information what you will, but I hope it's helpful just to give you a starting point, just to give you a sense of like, what majors and minors and concentrations should I consider? Now I'm going to hop back to the presentation and field some more popular questions that were submitted in the sign-up form. So in this section, I'm going to hand it off to some of our BITS members who are BATE and CS double majors or CS majors alone. So Kenan and Adrian, as well as Deep, if you want to hop in, I'm going to ask you guys to answer these questions. Feel free to unmute yourself and just take it away.
Okay, I guess I can start here with the first question. How to make a 4-year plan for a BATE double major? Definitely highly recommended. Especially because of all the courses you'll be taking. You have to take business core, then you have to take the computer science core before you even declare the major. You do pre-business, right? You do all those electives, especially if you're doing a BS in computer science. You did the physics requirement, you have to do the 7 electives they have to do, and then you have to do the BATE electives. So definitely plan out and put all your courses into like an Excel sheet or something. Most of you, well, for freshmen and sophomores, some of you are probably taking business forum or have taken business forum already. They do kind of teach you how to make a 4-year plan. Definitely make a 4-year plan and make it your own and plan things out in advance. And also look at some of the courses that overlap between the two majors. I can say that BATE and CS, there are some overlap, so that can kind of, I guess, relieve some pressure from the 130 whatever credits you'll be taking, basically, if you do a double major anyway. So that's pretty much my answer for the first question.
Adrian or Deep, feel free to add onto that if you have any thoughts. If you don't, feel free to take one of the next question.
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. So I'd say, I think specifically there are 2 classes that can overlap between BATE and CS. One of them is a CS class that you have to take anyway. It's Design and Analysis of Computer Algorithms. That's 344. So whether it's a BA or a BS, you have to take it, and it can count as a BATE elective. And then there's like some other classes that overlap. I think it's 2 out of the like 3 BATE electives or something like that. One of the things I did was I listed out all of the courses first, and then I arranged them in like an Excel sheet, Google Sheets, based on which classes, like marking down which classes were prerequisites for other classes as well. So like, especially if you want to take some of the CS classes like software engineering, that has a lot of prerequisites. So you want to plan that out well beforehand.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I think it's definitely useful for them to know the nuances. I think we don't have to tackle the next 3 questions one by one. If you want to just, I think each of you, I think it'd be helpful just to give your take on all 3 questions at the same time because they're all interrelated. So yeah, feel Adrian, if you want to take that, or yeah, sure. Are you comfortable?
Yeah. So okay. The difference between BATE and CS, I mean, I'd say BATE is a lot heavier on like general business stuff, especially because as long as you're in the business school, you have to take all of those business core classes. If you're taking CS, you don't have any of those business core classes, right? Like marketing or intro to management, that sort of thing. And then CS will obviously be a lot harder on the technical requirements. So you'll have to do like programming in C for computer architecture and a few other classes. And there's also a mathematics requirement. I think the bare minimum is that you take linear algebra and like the calc prerequisites for that. To double major between them, it's quite difficult. Specifically for a BS degree, I'm not sure that I'd be able to finish it in 4 years if I didn't have AP credits. It's possible, I think, because there are physics classes that are only like 2 classes across 2 semesters, but there's also 1 track of physics or chem that covers 4 semesters, so it's kind of a lot. And if you're choosing between them, I mean, it really depends on whether you want to be heavily technical or whether you don't, or whether you're already in SAS and you're too lazy to switch to RBS or vice versa. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good overview of the questions. Kenan, do you have any things to add?
Yeah, I can add a few things to what Adrian said. I think well, when I was a mentor last semester, we have a mentorship program here at BITS as well. And my mentees, both of them were BAIT and CS. They wanted to be a BAIT and CS major, and they both asked me, you know, pretty much these exact same questions as well. It's like what everyone wants to know when they're deciding between BAIT and CS. I think the main thing, and what I've told them, and what I'll tell you now is, I think you should really just kind of focus on whether or not you're really interested in these topics, because in the end, I'm currently deciding to do a BAIT major with a BA in computer science. So that's 132 credits already. Like basically, that's what I have on my schedule. It says I have 132 total credits. So if you're doing the BS, that's even more. And I know that Adrian, she came with a lot of credits, AP credits specifically, a lot more than I did. And so if you're going to do a double major between BAIT and CS, first know if you're really interested, and know that if you actually care about the subject matter, because in the end, you can honestly just pick one and then take that. So if you want to be a software engineer, just take CS. You don't need to necessarily take BAIT at all. Like, why do you have to go through all the the extra work? It doesn't make any practical sense. So how I convinced what I believe that I've decided on is that I personally am interested in both of these subject matters, and I'm willing to take these courses because I really want to explore these areas. So when you're choosing between BAIT and CS, or choosing to double major, definitely take your curiosity and your interest to heart, because like Adrian said, it is a lot of work. And yeah, that's pretty much off that.
Thank you so much. I think that hopefully that was very helpful for anyone in that same position. I think I see some questions in the chat. I think we should field right now. I see someone asked, would you recommend a BAIT major with a CS minor? And another question, how does a minor compare to a BA major? I don't know much about the BA-BS differences, so I think you guys would have a better context for that. But yeah, let's just quickly address those two questions in the chat. Either Kenan or Adrian, you can take it.
I can answer would you take a take a BAIT major with a CS minor?
Yeah.
I think it depends on what do you want? Do you want to learn, CS? Do you want to learn about algorithms? Do you want to learn about data structures? Do you want to learn about, all these different kind of like C, Java? Is that what you're interested in? If you're interested in it, then I say go for it, because I find it really interesting. So definitely go for it if you want to.
Awesome. And then yeah, I think that's a good cohesive response. And then Adrian, same question. How does a minor compare to a BA major?
Yeah, I don't have the minor requirements memorized, because I was pretty set on a major in the first place. But let's see. I'd assume that it's fewer classes. Some of them probably overlap. If you wanted to take some specialty classes like I don't know, Introduction to AI or Introduction to Data Science, I think those are some of them. You probably don't have to, if you're not interested in all of the other things, you probably don't have to do a major. Maybe, I think you can just get those classes with a minor, and you might have more flexibility to explore other classes, like if you want to take a random psychology class or a random class in something else. Otherwise, if you're trying a double major, it can be pretty restricting on which classes you have free to switch around. The other thing is, if you ever want to do a master's in CS specifically, a lot of schools, I shouldn't say a lot. I mean, schools will care about the difference between a minor and a major, probably. Some schools might also care about the difference between a BA and a BS. So consider that and what things you can fit in your schedule, and whether or not you're willing to potentially graduate a semester later if it doesn't fit.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think those are really great nuances for people to consider that you might not know about just based on your own research. If you have any more specific questions, feel free to find Adrian and Kenan in the breakout rooms afterwards and just pick their brain individually. But for now, we'll continue moving on. Okay, so we're gonna jump into eBoard introductions. I'll start off and we'll just go from left to right. Okay, so hi, I'll start off. I'm Unadi, the co-president of BITS, and I am a BATE and finance double major.
Hi, everyone. I'm Aishwarya. I'm the other co-president. I'm a BATE and finance double major with an econ minor.
Hi everyone, my name is Shoria. I'm the secretary and also a VP. I'm also a senior and I'm a BATE and finance double major.
Hey everyone, my name is Sean. I am the treasurer and on leadership. I kind of advise the events team. I am a finance and BATE double major with a concentration in global business.
Hi everyone, my name is Tulsi. I am a junior double majoring in BATE and finance, and I am the VP of leadership, but also advising the events team.
Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin. I'm the co-VP of events. I'm a junior majoring in BATE and supply chain management.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm the co-VP of events as well, and I'm a BATE and supply chain double major.
Hi, my name is Isha. I'm VP of Corporate Relations, and I'm doing a double major in BATE and Finance.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rashi, and I'm also the VP of Corporate Relations, and I'm a senior, and I'm doing a double major in BATE and Marketing.
Hey, y'all, I'm Alec. I'm a senior majoring in supply chain and BATE, and I'm one of the co-VPs for tech.
Bhakti is not here with us today, but she is a BATE major, and she is co-VP of tech with Alec.
Hi everyone, I'm Juliana. I'm the VP of marketing and I'm majoring in marketing and BATE.
Hi guys, my name's Ian and I'm the co-VP of design and I'm double majoring in accounting and marketing.
Hi everyone, I'm Neha and I'm also the co-VP of design and I'm double majoring in BATE and psychology.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole. I'm a senior, I'm a BATE major, and I am a co-editor-in-chief of the newsletter.
Hi everyone, my name is Amani. I am the other co-editor-in-chief and I'm a junior. I'm double majoring in finance and BATE and double minoring in education and sustainability.
Hi everyone, my name is Deep. I'm the Vice President of Web Dev Committee and I'm a junior majoring in computer science and minoring in economics.
All right, so thank you everyone on eBoard for introducing yourselves. Feel free to find them in the breakout rooms if you want to ask any of them specific questions about their major combinations, or if you don't have to ask them about their major specifically, just highly encouraged to mix and mingle with eBoard as much as possible. Now I'm gonna pass it off to Aishwarya to go over some of the past events that we have had in BITS to give you an idea of like what you can expect.
So Isha will talk a little bit more about the BITS Expo, but basically it's kind of a career fair type setup. When we're in person, it was in the fifth floor lounge at RBS, and you would just go up to different employers and kind of talk to them and get to know a little bit more about professionals. But Isha, if there's anything else you want to add, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically the expo is held like every semester, and we basically bring in recruiters and other people from different companies. And so this semester when we did it virtually, we basically had people sign up and they got to talk in small groups with people in companies like Bloomberg, EY, Merck, and basically kind of get more advice, like career advice, and they were able to ask their questions. And as Aishwarya said, it's basically kind of like a career fair where you can ask questions to higher level executives and recruiters.
And then this is just an example of some of the other events that we had last semester. One was a Google workshop with a professional, and then we also had our first BITS event of the semester. We had other events too, such as So You Want to Be a BATE Major that we talked about earlier, the mentorship program, which many of you may have been a part of. So they kind of all fall under the idea of professional development, networking opportunities, and really just getting you to meet new people and explore BAIT as a major too.
Yes, I'm very excited for the upcoming programming that we have planned for this semester. Just to get a more detailed overview of what type of events we do, I would highly recommend following our Instagram at Rutgers_bits. You can see all the events that we've done. So definitely follow that and check it out. As for upcoming initiatives and events that you should all be excited for, I'm going to do a little, just a dip in the toe, like sneak peek into them. This is not everything we have planned, but these are the 4 main things you should look forward to. There will be more information released on our Instagram, but so these are the 4 main things. So BDAA stands for BITS Data Analytics Accelerator. And essentially it's a 10-week program where we kind of accelerate your skills in data. So it's very self-explanatory, but essentially you can expect a lot of workshops on SQL, Python, web scraping, Tableau, like every BAIT related skill possible will be in this 10-week program. And the 10-week program includes projects alongside with it as well. So kind of jumping back to that question that we had in FAQs before, how do I learn BAIT skills? BDAA is the perfect way to do that and dip your toes into all of the skill sets for data analytics and business technology in general. Additionally, would highly recommend doing the projects and adding them onto your resumes and then LinkedIn's. The second thing, which is a new initiative that we're very excited for you guys, is the Datathon. So we're planning on having a Datathon a little bit later in the semester, and as opposed to a hackathon that might be focused more on coding, the Datathon will have more of a business aspect to it. So essentially, it's a hackathon focused on the intersection of business and technology, and of course catered to BAIT majors and anyone in the business tech field. So very excited for that. Keep a lookout for updates on our Instagram and our email. The third big initiative is our BITS Expo, which we just talked about. Isha and Aishwarya just talked about. So essentially it's a career fair for BAIT majors. And fourth initiative is speaker series. We're going to be bringing in a ton of alumni, professionals, recruiters, and people in the tech space to talk more about their technical jobs and technical careers. So those are the 4 main initiatives that you should be keeping a lookout for on our Instagram and our newsletter.
Well, first of all, of course, since I'm the co-editor-in-chief of the newsletter, we got to plug our newsletter, our mailing list. You need to subscribe to it. You have to be on it. That's how you get all information about all of our events. We have different things that we put in our newsletter, like Bits of BAIT, where we talk about BAIT in different industries and how you can get involved in that. We have a new segment called Alumni Spotlight, where we're gonna shout out to different alumni in our newsletter. And it's a great place where you can get all your information. So make sure you subscribe to that. In terms of our Instagram and our Facebook, that's where you get all the latest events that we're obviously going to be plugging. So that's how you can get involved in when the next event is. LinkedIn, who doesn't have LinkedIn? You got to be on it. We also have different Medium articles that we're going to be releasing. So that's going to be plugged in our LinkedIn as well. And then our YouTube channel, it's really important, where you can find different videos, such as our big video that we had that Unadi already plugged. So you want to be on that. And then our Discord and our GroupMe, that's the best way to communicate with us. All of us are on there. So if you have any questions, any things that you want to ask us, that's probably the best way that you can get in contact with us. So make sure that you're connecting with us, because obviously we know networking and connections are how we get involved in the real world. So if you have any questions, message us on GroupMe, message us, and get involved in the mailing list. That's how you get involved. Be a part of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think that was a really great overview of all of our platforms. Also, I will add for the mailing list, we also have job opportunities in there all the time, and just opportunities in general for hackathons you can attend outside of Rutgers, and just external opportunities in general. So highly suggest following the mailing list for opportunities in like every aspect, whether it's a BITS event or an internship application. So that concludes our presentation.